Good afternoon. My name is Ann Mitchell, an account manager here at RunSignup, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to today's webinar on Turkey Trot Prep. Today's webinar will cover best practices on getting your race ready for the upcoming Turkey Trot season. We'll get started here shortly, but first I'd like to go over a few quick housekeeping notes to keep everything running smoothly today. First, you will have the ability to minimize or maximize the control panel using the arrow button in the upper left corner of the control panel. As far as questions, even though attendees will be muted throughout the session, we do encourage you to submit them using the question pane on the control panel. We'll get to them as time allows. If your question does not get answered during today's session, somebody will follow up with you. Within 24 to 48 hours, a recording of this webinar will be shared with all registrants, so no need to take notes if you just prefer to watch and learn. So with that said, I'd like to introduce you to today's presenters, Steve Bingham-Hawk, our Senior Account Manager here at RunSignup, and Adriana Medina, our Account Manager intern here for the summer, who will be co-presenting today's webinar. Take it away, Steve and Adriana.
All right, thanks, Ann. You missed the best part, or the most interesting part, I think, which is our favorite Thanksgiving dish. I have no apologies, and I'm very proud of my affinity for stovetop stuffing. And I think Adriana is quite the buttered corn fan.
I am.
Guilty as charged.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm a senior account manager, like Ann said. I'm located here in Kansas City, Missouri area, or Kansas City. Well, I'm on the Kansas side in the Kansas City area. And Adriana, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Adriana. Like Ann said, the account management intern this summer at RunSignup. A little bit about me. I'm a marketing major at VCU in Richmond with a concentration in product and brand management. I'm going to be a senior this year. I've learned so much this summer about RunSignup, and I'm excited to share with y'all some of my favorite features that we have for your turkey trots. And yeah. It is buttered corn. Like I love me some buttered corn. So.
Yeah, Adriana, we've loved having you on the team, and you've been doing a great job. And happy to have you here today. So yeah, and it's a very important day that we're talking about today. It's America's most popular race day of the year. The most athletes, the most races are happening on Thanksgiving every year here in the U.S. Just some fun facts for everybody to warm things up. The first turkey trot took place 127 years ago in Buffalo. And can you believe it? They are on RunSignup. So you can actually register for the 128th turkey trot in Buffalo if you wish. The biggest US running day, we raised more than $1.8 million for charities on our platform alone last year on Thanksgiving. So that's a lot of great funds coming in for some incredible organizations and nonprofits, and RunSignup is so grateful to be part of all of those groups that are doing so many great things out in the community. Did you know, Adriana, that a turkey can reach speeds up to 25 miles an hour?
I did not know that. First time.
We both learned something today, and I think the most of our guests did as well. That's faster than us. I'd hate to see one of those then at the start line, although maybe that's another event you could add to your race at the turkey if you just take on turkeys. So something to think about, some additional revenue opportunities. And as a reminder, turkey trots, all about fun. So certainly races are fun year round, and certainly turkey trots can be competitive. But I think that more than any other day, more than any other race, this is the time where people really kind of let their guards down and really enjoy and embrace the spirit of races and the community that it brings together, the support that we all have for each other as organizers, as attendees, as guests, as spectators. So I think always thinking about how you can embrace that spirit as you're going through your operations and how you're communicating to your participants. So things we're going to cover today, first of all, just getting started on your turkey trot for this year with RunSignup, whether you're new or you've been with us for many years and you're just renewing your race. We're going to talk about specific tools and features related to marketing, about how you can grow participation, talk about our website and email assets where you can really put forth a professional and dynamic brand and identity and communications to really engage with your folks. Increasing revenue with donations and fundraising. And then how do we put on just a knockout morning on Turkey Trot Race Day with our Race Day suite of tools that make things so easy, like checking people in and assigning bibs. And then are there the additional opportunities we have to increase revenue? So for those that are, not necessarily stagnant, but you're looking for, we're not growing participations necessarily, but that doesn't mean that you can't grow your revenue. So if you're getting started, are you doing a new race or a renew? Well, if you are brand new to RunSignup, welcome. And we are a free platform. That's a very key hallmark feature of RunSignup. No subscriptions, no setup fees, no maintenance fees, and there's no commitment. So you can come and leave as ever you wish. We believe that the product is something that's so effective for so many organizations that it speaks for itself. And I think that you'll get to see some of this if you're new to us today for the webinar. But we really believe in putting forth the most helpful tools possible and making it easy and not add a line item to the organizer's budget when we all are seeing costs skyrocketing across the board. So if you're coming back, welcome back. And guess what? It is time to renew. Why should you renew? First of all, it's a very quick and easy process. You did a lot of work last year on your race, and you put in some key settings that you can easily copy over as opposed to trying to start completely from scratch. By renewing your race, you're also going to keep the same URL every year. So there's no panic moment of, oh my gosh, I forgot to tell the Kansas City Track Club that they should have, changed the URL for our race this year. It's if somebody has it from last year, it'll be the same again. Comparing the data, so being able to look at metrics on your dashboard to see how you're doing in terms of progress with your sales, your participant counts, and quickly get features on just the makeup of all of your participants. And then centralizing your participant data. Renewing does that for you. It keeps all the years in one location and allows you to then message folks through email V2 and other ways that are very easy, where you're not exporting and importing lists or operating in Excel or moving to other platforms and then moving back. You're operating in one space, one platform with all your communications and all your transactions. All right, so we are going to pass off over to Adriana now and start digging into some of the actual specific tools and features that are going to help you with growing your race.
Yeah, so as Steve said, we have a lot of marketing features on our platform, but we went ahead and picked out some that we are sure you and your participants will love. So just a quick overview, our built-in marketing technology is free, so is everything else. With that, we have great features that incentivize registration, like creating groups and teams, and pricing features, and also features that can essentially create ambassadors for your race. So let's get started on the first, in my opinion, best feature that we have for Turkey Trots, groups and teams. So as we all know, Turkey Trots are all about the Thanksgiving spirit. And with that comes spending the day with your loved ones, family and friends alike. So people love being part of a community, a group, and our social groups and teams allow for that. This feature brings enthusiasm to your race, increases participants by naturally creating more race awareness, and in turn, it boosts registrations. And you know your audience, so you can take it a step further and create a competitive group and team option. With this, you can promote group awards for the best costume. People love turkey costumes, or a race t-shirt, best race t-shirt, whatever you want. Again, this is a fun, and these competitive teams don't need to be like, oh, who's first or anything like that. Like, they can just be competing for like turkey rights. I mean bragging rights. So yeah, just have fun with it. Groups and teams, like it can be a fun feature to use for your race. So Steve, I know you're also an advocate for group and teams. So if you want, you can talk about group pricing.
Yes, I would have taken the mic anyway, so I appreciate you just handing it off. No, but I think that there are some really smart technology pieces that are at play behind the scenes from our development team related to groups and teams that are really helpful. So first of all, you can set up what we call member registration fees, which basically means if somebody's going to join a group, they're automatically going to get a discount. So that makes it really nice and easy and rewards people right away. You can also set thresholds so that you need to reach a certain number of members before the discount's going to get kicked in. And then this is my favorite part. So obviously those first few people, let's say we set the threshold at 3, okay? So the discount's going to kick in at 3 members. Well, what about 1 and 2, right? They're the ones that helped you get to that threshold. You want to reward them with the discount as well. Well, we can set up, or you can set up on the platform the refunds for groups. So therefore, that person 1 and 2 are automatically by our platform going to get a refund to the card that they used when they purchased it. So that makes it so nice and easy for you. Once it's set, you're not having to go run reports, you're not having to process any transactions. Those people are feeling like they got taken care of, and now all future members of their team are also being taken care of with that discount. And then there's also ways to make it such that like a captain, for example, could take care of the whole team in one go. So you can set up a group fee where, you know, I'm going to pay $300 and that's going to get me 5 or 6 people. And then every subsequent member that's going to join that team will not have to pay anything. And we have controls in place that allow that to happen, such as a password for your team, so that nobody would come in who's not supposed to be doing such. So thank you, Adriana, for letting me take that one, but I'm going to push it back to you to talk about multi-person pricing.
Okay, awesome. So now we're going to quickly go over multi-person pricing, which is essentially a discount to encourage family registration. Because turkey trots are so family-oriented, this is a good option to look at for your race. You can create multiple multi-person pricing groups for different amounts of peoples. So here you can see we have a family pack for 4 to 8, but you can easily add another one for 4 to 4 if you just want to do like a 4-person pack and anything like that. And then you can change the pricing to the cart total, or give an overall discount, or a discount per registrant. So it's pretty intuitive. It's a great feature. So now we can talk about age-based pricing. So age-based pricing is great. I think a lot of turkey trot participants will appreciate this. You can change the pricing for specific age ranges. So you have that option of creating multiple age ranges depending on if you want to market to kids, teenagers. You can even do a senior discount. So you can help families save money. So yeah, age-based pricing is really flexible and it's a great tool to look at. This is the front facing side of age-based pricing. So you can see like the event tiles or the purchase summary. So yeah, that's a cute little image to show you how it looks like for your participants. So now we're going to talk about referrals. So we talked about a lot of pricing features, but let's take a step back and look at referrals. So what are referrals? We generate a unique registration URL every time someone registers. So when registrants share their unique referral link, any registration that comes through the link is tracked. And tracking gives you the ability to reward your registrants for promoting your race. So your first encounter with referrals will actually be in the last step of the race wizard, which is actually a recent enhancement from our development team. So we believe that this is one of the most effective marketing features on our platforms, so much that we've integrated this into our wizard and made it so simple for y'all to activate it. We truly recommend this practice, and if you enable it, it will automatically refund $20 to a participant who refers 5 extra people. So it's really easy. You literally just click a button. So now we're going to talk about social sharing. Now that you've
So I'm not sure if that's me or if that's Adriana.
I believe it is Adriana. Yeah, I think
it's Adriana. Okay. All right, I will. I'll go ahead and chat, and then when she comes, oh, she's back, I think. Sorry, folks, we're just having some connection issues. So I think what Adriana was getting at here. Let's see if she's gonna.
So let me take a look at this at the promotions tab in the back end.
Hey, Adriana, can you hear us okay?
Yeah.
Sorry, the internet, you froze for a bit there.
I did?
Yeah. it happened, yeah, but we're all good. You're back now, so we can hear you just fine. It cut off right at social sharing. So I think you were going to talk a little bit about how easy it is once somebody registers to then share that unique referral link.
Yeah. Wait, if you want, you can take the.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, so as you can see, guys, the pop-up comes on your screen after you register, and you can easily, when you're clicking on post to Facebook button or tweet, and instead of taking the general URL for the race, it's going to take your unique referral link and post that. So anybody that's going to see that on your social media wall and click on it, then they're going to be able to, it's going to track and then work towards the credits for that person. So here we've got the timeline all set up for how you should be configuring your referral refunds and rewards. So that's the key, is that you want to do this tracking so that you can then reward your folks, right? So Adriana, do you want to talk a little bit kind of about the different rewards that can be set up? And you got an awesome graphic there of all the sweet prizes that these Turkey Trot folks are going to win if they, or earn, I should say, as they get their referrals. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, the Race Wizard referral is just the refund. So like refer 5 friends, get cash back. So now we have referral rewards, or also known as swag rewards. There are exclusive items that participants can gain after referring X amount of people that register. So you're basically layering your rewards to create multiple tiers for your participants to work for. This all creates buzz for your event, so it keeps your participants engaged in the race. So we can just quickly go over this timeline of how you would do this and set this up. The first thing you will do is enable referral tracking and activate referral refunds and rewards. So then you will head to the swag rewards tab you can easily set up your recommended 2 to 3 swag items. You don't need to do a ton. And then you will go back to referral tracking and scroll down to referral rewards and fill in your already set up swag items. So this might sound like a lot, but when you go in there, it will feel intuitive. I know it did for me. So to get the most out of this feature, you will have to create some buzz for your social media pages and even emails. So definitely use email V2 to promote this feature. It's really great, and if you promote it right, you can get a lot more participants. So yeah, now that you learned a little bit more about our marketing features, I'm going to hand it over to Steve to talk about websites and email.
Yes, awesome. Thanks, Adriana. You took the tech issues like a pro, so great job on that. Website and email. So guys, this is your front-facing piece. This is how you're presenting yourself to the world. And what's great about RunSignup is that you can essentially offer a 2-for-1, where your website and your registration site are all integrated into one. And then we also want to talk about our email V2 platform, which just really harnesses the power of all that data living on RunSignup, and then being able to quickly and smoothly transition into the communications out to folks. So, so first of all, just talking about websites and what makes them effective, right, on any platform. But and these are some of the goals that you really want to be able to define, so that you can measure, what are you going after and how successful you are at reaching these goals. So first of all, you want to brand your race, of course, and we're going to talk about the tools and features that allow you to do that on our platform. You're wanting to drive registrations, donations, volunteer signups. So making sure that those key calls to action are easy to find. So I know we stare at these pages for hours sometimes. We move this image 5 pixels over and then 30 pixels back, and now it's perfect. But you got to put that hat on, like, I've never seen this before, and can I actually get, as a person coming in cold, to what I want them to do? Can they register? Do they know where to register within a second or two? Great, then I have an effective website. Provide information to help people out understand more about your race, and make sure that it's current and that it looks current. So, you know, swap out photos, do things so that your repeats, which are your best customers or your best participants, make sure, you know, it looks fresh for them. You want to encourage engagement, so telling them about all the ways that they can interact with the folks in this community that are going to be participating in the race. What are the expo hours? How can they get on social groups and teams? Who's at the top of the leaderboard for team fundraisers? And then, of course, post-race, don't forget results and photos. That's how you're keeping people engaged well after race day. And then, of course, you want to promote what are all the value, what's the value proposition? What are the value items that you're providing at your race that maybe no one else is? So the awesome shirt you spent so much time designing and procuring, all the awesome entertainment that's going to be there, how family friendly it is. You want to be touting all of those benefits. And then, of course, showcase your sponsors, give them as many impressions as possible, and we have some great ways to do that. And I just have a note here, 60+% of website visitors are on mobile devices. So if you are only using your desktop computer or your laptop to set this all up and to test it and view it, you're doing yourself a disservice. You want to make sure that you're taking a look at your website on your mobile device and it looks just as fabulous as it does on your computer. Our platform is designed to be responsive to different screen sizes, all screen sizes, but there are some nuances that may make you decide, like, oh, that maybe that photo in a smaller format is maybe a little too detailed, and I want something that has, you know, a little bit more contrast, right? So just give yourself those gut checks and it will really serve you well. So being able to brand your race website, we've got a lot of like sort of the basic mechanics, which is the race theme. So that's where you're going to be configuring the colors and logo and banner image. You can also move from vertical to horizontal layouts, lots of different ways to make the race website your own. You can also enable our cover page, which gives a much more dynamic and professional look to it. Custom sections where you're adding specific information that gets highlighted in its own area, but then you can also turn that into its own standalone page. And then using custom content display and menu order and displays, now you're starting to nest those and organize those custom sections to have really dynamic data that's easy to find and easy to get back to when your folks are revisiting your website. And then what's coming soon, for those of you that are on our ticket platform, TicketSignup.io, you will know very well our website builder, where it is very intuitive and it looks a lot like Email V2. So if you've used Email V2, website builder, when it comes over from tickets to races soon, is going to feel very familiar, and you're going to love the even more power that it's going to unlock, and the even cooler designs that you're going to be able to put together. But we're still cool right now, Adriana. This is built with the existing options and our website customization. So you've got your menu bar up top where you can feature your store, your FAQs, the list of your groups and teams. You're using the race theme to put in your branding, so the colors, logo, any imagery, social media, putting those icons on there to make sure people can share your race and engage that way. Offering all of your different events through those event tiles towards the middle there, and then adding any number of content sections on your cover page to talk about the race, maybe the schedule, who it benefits, special notes about parking, and then additional graphics and photos and videos that are really going to help people get a sense of what your event is about and get them excited and motivated to sign up and participate. And then, of course, action buttons. So again, always be thinking about, is it easy? And in this case, maybe we should be moving those action buttons a little bit further top, maybe between the How to Turkey Trot and then the graphic right there, right? Because then that's less to scroll before they get to those. So always be thinking about how to optimize your website. All right, Email V2. So this is an incredible tool that has, it's a relatively new feature for us. It's our next generation email system, and it's been getting constant updates. But at its core, what's really important is the lack of limits, if you will. Unlimited emails, unlimited contacts, unlimited historical data that you can bring in so that you're able to use it for all your different populations and all the different ways that you want to communicate. Anybody that's coming onto your race website and processing a transaction, so if they're registering, making a donation, they're signing up as a volunteer, they're creating a fundraising page, that's going to create what we call default lists. So you can choose which default lists to email and then craft your communications to speak directly to those people, and then speak differently, because the way you're going to communicate with a volunteer is very different than how you're going to be talking to your race participants. But you can also upload custom lists, and you can bring in tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands if you want, and then build just professional and beautiful emails. You can also build templates. So especially when you've got teams working, multiple people on your team working on the race and sending out communications, they can just take the template that you've created, it's on brand, that it's in a format that makes sense for your group, and excuse me, and makes it really easy on your team to just get that communication into play. And then probably our best part of email v2 is our data replacement tags, being able to personalize email with these tags so that you're harnessing that data that we're collecting from your registrants, and then being able to share it with them to give them helpful reminders and really ensure that they have a wonderful race experience and don't have any logistical challenges when they're picking up their packets. The other piece of email v2 that we have now is automated emails. So these are ones that you can set to go out in as many intervals as you want. Actually, we're going to get a little bit more in the details of that, so I won't give it all away in this one slide. And then as a reminder, though, this is free. So if you are paying a subscription fee to something like Constant Contact or MailChimp, this is your opportunity to be a hero for your board, your committee, your boss, and show them I am cutting costs because we're moving over to RunSignup for our email communication. All right, so those replacement tags that I was getting at. So you're basically going to be able to create individual emails, but you're doing it in seconds or minutes as opposed to hours or days of having to create all of these one by one. So helpful things you can pull in, of course, is their first name, so you're talking directly to that person. On race week, pulling in their bib number, what gender they had indicated, and their age, I think is really helpful, especially for timers, to let people know, like, this is the data that we have for you. So if somebody registered you, or you might have made an inputting error and you're the wrong gender or the wrong age, let's catch that now and not during the award ceremony when we've already started handing out awards. So I think it's really helpful to do that. Also providing the QR code that is going to be scanned at packet pickup by the Race Day Check-in app, which we're going to get to in just a little bit here. But also, as you're bringing in those custom lists, you can bring in as many columns as you want about your participants. It doesn't have to match up to any of our fields. It can be whatever you call them. So for example, if you want to be able to email 100 people and thank them for how many dollars, and actually put the number of dollars for all 100 people in there, just bring in that column 2022 amount raised, and our system will automatically grab that and send it out to them, and does it in seconds. So this is just an example of kind of setting up this pre-race email. So I want to send it to my current participants, and so I've included that one. What's also great is that you can exclude people from the list. So let's say I want to send everything out to a custom list that I have brought in, include all of those 10,000 people, but I want to exclude the 500 people that are currently registered for my race. So therefore, excuse me, they won't get the email saying, hey, please sign up, because guess what, they're already signed up. And that way you can really craft and personalize the messaging in addition to those replacement tags that personalizes it even further. And then on the right, there's just an example of the code that comes in that's actually putting in the QR code. So automated emails, there's 3 types. First, the incomplete registrations. So if somebody has at least started the registration process and provided their email address, we're collecting that, and then you can our system will send out an automated email inviting them to come and complete it. So that's really helpful. Price increases, there's 2 different tiers for that. So you can be messaging your current participants to let them know, hey, your friends and family really want to know about this discount, and you should share it with them, because guess what, prices are going up tomorrow. So that's really helpful for them to get the heads up. And it's especially important for turkey trots, since it's so driven by families and social groups and teams and organizations. And then the third one is registration follow-ups. So if there are things that you want to keep them in the know about, or just to be able to engage, keep yourself, keep top of mind. If you're fundraising, you can put in data replacement tags so that they are getting, here's your unique referral link. Don't forget to keep sharing that so you can earn credit towards your refund. And you can set it, all of these, at multiple intervals. So maybe you want to send out an email 7 days after with some information about fundraising, reminder to keep going, and then 30 days after you want to remind them about that too. You can also set it for certain dates. So maybe on Monday of event week, everyone who has signed up is going to get that. And this is dynamic. So you're not having to go in and pull in lists and names of people since you created the email, as long as it's set. So when it's set up, it's just going to take everybody that's registered and then send it straight out to them, regardless of when you created or customized it. And that's another point, is that we give this default copy to you, but you can customize all of this to make it look and sound the way you want it to. And the benefits, it's just gonna, with the automation, it's lessening the burden on you and your team. And of course, it gives you an opportunity for that additional engagement and a revenue generation through donations or encouraging people to buy registration add-ons. So with that, speaking of revenue and trying to grow that, I'm gonna toss it back over to Adriana, who's gonna talk about donations and fundraising.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Steve. So we're going to be talking about donations and fundraising. So quickly, Thanksgiving really is the season of just giving. A lot of turkey trots support their local food bank and shelter and community in general. So our donations and fundraising feature is built into our platform. It's free to use and it's insanely customizable. So these are words that we're using a lot because it's great. It's great. So let's start. If you're new here, just quickly, consider talking to your local food bank and setting up a charity partner with them. And if you have been on our platform but haven't set up donations, it will only take a few minutes to create. And it never hurts to raise some money for some people in your community. So yeah, donations are great. So we're going to talk about the front-facing side of donations, and if this has inspired you to create a more customizable page, you can do so in the donation tab setup section. So here you'll see our logo. So you can upload a different logo from your race logo. So if you have a main charity or nonprofit that you want to support, you can put the logo here. I think that's a really great option. You can also set up your donation goal. That will be in the race wizard. So that's a great practice because it just motivates your participants to have a goal to strive for. So then you'll see our goal thermometer and our donor list. Those are really incentivization tools. Your participants will see real people names and real donations, and they will basically just see a community raising money and they will want to be a part of it. So those are great to enable. Just click a button. And then description. I've seen some races that have really great descriptions, and it's great because descriptions are important for donations. People want to be moved. They want to know how their donation is impacting the community. So they will feel more inclined to donate if you really if you take the time and write a compelling statement about why these donations matter. So yeah, so now we have, if you scroll down, you'll see the donation buttons and you'll see the donation levels, which is great because it makes it easier for someone to donate. They can just click and pay instead of having to wonder oh, how much is enough? So that's a great option to set up in the general settings. And then you can do on behalf options. So it's like in memory of, you can customize all of that. So here we have the best practices to keep donations open. Steve, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I think the point here, the takeaway is that there's no reason to add an end date for your donation period because you'll take any giving contributions on race day or after, right? And that way, if somebody does want to contribute, especially if you have fundraising open and people are trying to help someone reach a goal, and we would always recommend set your fundraising goal deadline to be after race day, because there's plenty of time for people to, be in especially at this time of year, because we're in the giving season, getting close to the holidays at the end of the year. And you don't want to have to reopen that. It is a little bit of a process, and it's not a great user experience. So just make it easy on everybody. You don't even have to put a date in. You don't have to put it out in the future. Just leave it blank. Just set your start date. You're good to go.
So now we're going to be talking about adding charity partners. So you can add one or as many as you want. You don't even have to add it, but I'll tell you why you should. So one, if you have multiple charities, the beauty of this feature is that it allows your participants to actually get to pick who they want to donate to. And for your charities, it gives them access to a dashboard that they can actually view reports and donations coming from your race. So if you give back to the participants, if you give them an option, they feel empowered. So I think that's I really like this feature. But another thing that I love about this feature is that you have the option to set up a direct payment account and the money will go directly to the charity. So you don't have to worry about it and you don't have to transfer anything. And as you can see in our slideshow, a quick tip and best practice is to enable donation checkbox. So you can enable this feature you can only enable this feature if you have a charity partner. So this makes it worth adding a charity partner, even if it's only one. This checkbox appears in the end of the registration path. It's right above the payment confirmation button, so they'll see it right before they confirm their payment. And it's really like your plea to ask for support, and people will click that button. They will support. Steve, what's your take on like the checkbox?
Yeah, I agree. I think you do it at a low amount. I mean, even if you just say $1, and the idea is that you're making it sort of a no-brainer decision, and it's part of this sort of drive for some incremental revenue that for them it's not much of a thought, it's not much of a decision, but for the organization, if you're getting hundreds of people that are adding $1 or $2, it can really mean a difference in what the organization can do in this really critical time of the year. So yeah, and just to piggyback on or to talk a little bit more about the one charity aspect. So you know, as long as you've got a nonprofit cause, you don't have to necessarily do anything formal. If you just set up the charity partner and indicate the name of the nonprofit that you're raising money for, that will unlock the ability to then add this checkbox. And then you said a great, Adriana, about being able to have if you have multiple charities and letting people select from them. So if you have any questions though, like anything, you should always just ask your account manager, or if you don't have an account manager, you don't know who yours is, you can email info@RunSignup, and happy to help.
All right, thanks. That was great. So individual fundraising. So this enhances your giving campaign because enabling individual fundraising allows participants to create customizable pages that they can share with their friends and family. So people who are already enthusiastic about your race will see this option and they are very likely to fundraise for you. They will essentially become ambassadors for your race. It's free marketing. Our fundraising feature comes with an automatic and customizable fundraising page, as you can see. The participant can manage, and you can even add milestones for the individuals to like raise $100 and you'll like get a milestone, and it's really cute. It's like doing like a gamification for your page. It's great. So fundraising amplifies the efforts of people. It gives your supporters the opportunity to rally for a good cause, and that feels really good for a lot of people. People like to donate to people, so people like to support causes that are important to their friends and family. So this is really a great tool to look into if you are looking to get more donations. And you can take it one step further and enable team fundraising. So enabling team fundraisers, it's a group of individual fundraisers now pulling their money together to complete the team fundraising goal. So this continues the encouragement of asking for donations. It creates that additional goal after they end up finishing their individual goal, which is great. This will ultimately result in additional dollars to your base. So overall, fundraising teams are great because people get to be a part of something bigger than themselves. People like to belong and be part of success. So it's very fulfilling, and it's great for Thanksgiving. People draw on the energy of others, so there's nothing better than working together to achieve a bigger goal. So this is great for a very festive and just loving holiday. So thank you for sticking with me through donations. Now I'm going to hand this over to Steve to talk about incremental revenue opportunities.
Yes, well, and you got us kicked off with that because you were talking about the checkbox. And so in addition to that, we wanted to just discuss a couple other features that I think can help kind of move the needle on that top item as you're trying to grow revenue. Registration add-ons. This is a great opportunity to be able to offer some items, but also non-tangible items for sale within the registration flow. So first of all, maybe there's exclusive swag. You can see here, we've got a coffee mug with our awesome turkey dude on the top of, or on the front of it. And so sometimes, you know, 18 bucks, that can be a no-brainer decision for somebody that already got their credit card in, so, or out and ready to go to register. So this makes an easy way to just integrate that. Think about elevated experiences. So do you have a VIP section that people can buy into, or maybe there's an activity like a climbing wall or other kids activities that are at a premium, something like pony rides. You could be selling tickets to those experiences here in the registration add-on. Then if you're offering a premium meal, you know, something that's like a sit down or an extra sandwich, rather than people having to worry about bringing cash or a card, you know, have them buy it there. And then all they need to do is just have their registration scanned. You can use the check-in app to see who has actually purchased those tickets or purchased those add-ons. Maybe there's premium parking. There's a lot nearby the start line. And for the cost of putting a security guard there, the revenue you're going to collect for the number of spaces you can sell, I'm sure will by far outweigh that cost, and again, help you grow revenue. And then shipping. I think during this time, it is such a nutty week where you're maybe worried about traveling, people traveling to you, planning this elaborate meal, planning your Black Friday sale schedule. So many things to worry about. And if it means that you don't have to go to a packet pickup experience and just have your packet mailed to you, keep in mind, I like to coach people on the fact that as much as you want to keep it as close to the cost of what it takes to ship to somebody, and for some populations, it makes sense to keep it right at that point. But remember, you're giving them a convenience. And there is some work on your end to be managing that. You're going to be working with a fulfillment house, or maybe you're fulfilling it by yourself. So you can charge upwards of 10, 15, 20. I've seen it as high as $30. People will pay it in the appropriate market and for the appropriate races. So don't sell yourself short. It is an opportunity to earn more money and to increase your profit. Standalone store. So this is very similar to the registration add-on, but what's different about it is it operates outside of the registration process. So people can go to your store tab on your race website and buy items without having to click on register and start going through the sign-up process. However, you do have the option to incorporate it into your registration flow. So if you're offering the same items on your store and in the registration flow to your participants, then just use the store feature and keep it nested within your registration form. If they're different, that's when you'd want to use registration add-ons for the registrants, and then use your store that's geared more towards spectators, family members, volunteers. You know, one strategy with this is we know we have to over order sometimes just to make sure we have enough. And rather than keep a box that's collecting dust until the next turkey trot, you can turn this into a revenue opportunity to be selling through the season or as you get closer to the next turkey trot. So it's a year-round opportunity for you to increase revenue and reduce the space in your warehouse or your basement or your garage where you're storing all this lovely swag. Now, talk about race day technology. So nothing is more important, I think, at any race than having a really smooth morning. Oftentimes it could be the first sort of physical experience that somebody has with your race when they go to the packet pickup tent. So making that fast and easy and smooth for them should be a high priority for your race. So the race day check-in app, you can see the logo towards the middle bottom there. That's what it looks like on any of the app stores that you're going to get it from. it expedites the check-in process, not only for participants, but for volunteers too. So I want to make that really important distinction that it's not just for your registrants, excuse me. So you can be giving this to your volunteer coordinators, especially out at aid stations where you can be checking in volunteers and getting that data, which will help you understand, how people show up on race day for your event, who shows up, and then how do you communicate and engage with them after the event, and then how do you talk and speak to them next year when you're trying to get them to come back. What's great is that it's going to dynamically synchronize all the data across the platform. So it's, and I'm going to hit on a really important point here before I forget, Adriana, because this is key. So what I love about this app is you need that initial internet connection in order to get in and connect with the race. However, it is going to cache the participant data as it comes down onto the device. Therefore, if you do lose an internet connection, it doesn't mean that you're paralyzed. You can still use the app and be able to access the data. Now, obviously, if it has no connection, it's not going to be able to bring in any changes that are happening on other devices until it gets that internet connection again. But this is so important when you've got a large event or in a really crowded area where the cell signals are just getting bombarded, or if you're in a very rural environment where the internet is not great to begin with, and now you've put hundreds of people, thousands of people in that space that are just clogging it even further. So I love that feature about this and such a smart piece of the technology from our developers. So you can process changes, and you can also lock down what those changes are, which I think is great. I'm going to get into that a little bit more in a little bit here. But the other piece is that it provides insights to organizers. And I have this check-in app report here showing how many people checked in out of the total number of registrants. You can even download reports to see who hasn't checked in, and maybe you want to message them about when packet pickup opens the next day, so that you're constantly engaging with people and helping them to have the best experience possible. I think I mentioned any devices on Apple and Android, and of course it's free. So to get it started, I just wanted to, I think it's such a critical part. We haven't talked a lot about like where everything is on settings in this webinar, but this one's so critical. I want to make sure we don't miss this, because a lot of people will take down the race or download the check-in app, look for their race, and they can't find it. Well, that's because you go and you need to enable it first, okay? So you're gonna make sure that you set the dates that is required on when it's going to be active on the app, and then put in a password. And that also protects you. So not anybody is going in and looking at your data and randomly checking people in. I don't know why people would do that, but who knows? So we're locking it down for you. Some key settings so that you can make sure that your configuration is working for your race. You can make it such that it is requiring that a bib number is entered. It can also have the ability to scan a QR code on a bib. So not only are you scanning the person's registration to pull them up in the app, but you can also scan your bib, and then that automatically assigns the bib number, so you're not having to worry about people typing in numbers and doing any kind of misplacement or mistyping. And that's the key thing. So you can scan somebody's QR code to look them up, or you can look them up by name or bib number. And you have the options to display certain pieces of information. If you want to have the giveaway size, if you've got certain custom questions, if you've got information that you didn't necessarily collect in the registration flow, you could always import custom questions into your race and then display those through the settings on your race day check-in app. To then display. So for example, let's say you've got 20 board members and you didn't necessarily collect that as a field when they were registering, but you know who they are. Bring that information in, so when somebody's checking them in, they're like, oh, we've got a special gift for you as a board member, or maybe it's just a different way that you speak with them or introduce them to somebody. It's helpful to know those sort of like folks that are really key supporters of you. You can allow or not allow people to be able to be unchecked in case that's an error, preventing duplicate bibs, and then you can set date range or bib ranges so that if somebody accidentally grabs an 8K bib and tries to assign that to a 5K person, they're going to try to use the wrong bib, a number out of the wrong range. This system can catch that as long as you've configured that range. And then there's some other settings, and you can always go over that with your account manager or the info at RunSignup team if you're wanting to know if you've got some special needs on data and how it looks. And then the other piece I wanted to touch on is our fast registration option. So with all the people that are going to be coming to your turkey trot, it could make sense on race week or race day to limit the number of questions that you're asking folks, so that they can get through the registration process, reduce that purchase time, and not give them any reason to abandon that transaction. So so some people lock down, maybe, you know, on race day, you're not so interested in how many people are in their household or other demographic information, like what is their median household income. Maybe that's stuff that makes sense when you have more time, but on race day, people want to just get through that form. You don't want to have to hold up the start of your race because people are entering this demographic information, right? And then the other ways that you can customize this is by device. So you can make it such that if someone's using a mobile device and it's based on like what screen they're viewing it on, maybe it will limit the number of questions. You can also do it by date range. So again, if you only want it to happen during race week or on race day. And then you can also create your own unique URL that is hiding some of those questions that you don't want to appear to, again, to streamline. So lots of customizations, lots of flexibility. And then wanted to touch also on RaceJoy. So if you haven't experienced RaceJoy, it's amazing. It's interactive and a very unique way to have a race. It certainly saw it really come to fruition and maturity during the pandemic. It was how I discovered RunSignup as a race director, and it really saved, frankly, my business and a lot of customers during that time. So what's great is it allows for people to receive audio messages and be tracked while they're participating in the race. So you can set up whatever gobble sound icons you want to, or sound clips. You can put in text that then is read to people at certain mile points or certain intersections if they're participating in person. And then the other piece is the spectator element, where anybody who is at home baking pies, they can be cheering on the family, sending them cheers on the app, and actually watching them and tracking those family members as they make their way through the route. So I think it's a great tool. It's another opportunity to message about your sponsors, to thank them, and also talk about the cause, what people's participation means to the organization that they're supporting. Are there upcoming events that you should know about? Is there a deadline you want to remind people about? You certainly don't want to bombard people with lots of messages, so you want to choose them carefully, but such a great way and unique way to help people experience the race day. And then as we're getting to the end here, we wanted to cover results and photos. So within results, that's defaulting on your page. And whether you're using race day scoring or not, you can always import race results. And you can see at the bottom of this person's result, it's got all this data about their rankings, but you can share it on a social media page, which is helpful. You can also link up the customer finisher certificate that people can download. I think that's really helpful for virtual events. And then there's also a button for photos. And what's great with our photos is that when you upload them, we do have bib recognition technology. So that means that instead of having to pay a company to go through and manually tag all of your bibs, we're pulling the bib numbers out of those photos and then linking them with your registrants that are assigned to those bib numbers. It operates as a permanent keepsake from your event, you know, and really increases that engagement post-race and gets them excited about next year. And on average, we wanted to note here that it can be viewed, that on average, photos are viewed 10 times. In 2022, our participants and race organizers uploaded 25,000 photos. I think we're going to see some huge numbers this year. So that's huge impressions, and you can use those to your advantage. So if you're working with a sponsor and they're on the edge, you want to get them to that title level, get their logo on those photos by using our watermark feature. And it literally takes you seconds and then instantly puts them on hundreds, potentially thousands or tens of thousands of photos that people are sharing constantly with all of their networks. You can also just put your event logo on it, which helps you in your brand and your identity. All right, so we've gotten through a lot. If you're new, that was a fire hose. If you have been with us for some time, or at least once, you've gotten some helpful reminders. And maybe this is just a nice little refresher and warm up for you to get going on your turkey trot if you haven't started setting it up yet. But there's a few pieces we want them to walk away with, right, Adriana? So if you are been with us for a while, you've had your race on our platform before, make sure that you're renewing, okay? So that you can keep all those awesome benefits like the year-over-year metrics, saving your URL and not having to change it. making sure you're looking for any opportunity to use fun features. So the social groups that Adriana was talking about, and the fundraising milestones, referral rewards, anything that is having people interact and engage and create that buzz is going to be good for you. Discounting and pricing strategies, so the multi-person, the age-based pricing, the group pricing, so that people feel like you're giving them a value, especially if they're bringing their whole flock or their whole family to the event. And then I know that, you know, again, you're going to steal the mic from me if I don't just hand it over, but I know you're really excited about the social media piece, right? So if you just want to give some final thoughts on that for the group.
Yeah, no, you're right. I do love my social media, you know, marketing major and all. It's just yeah, I mean, I just want to remind you guys to take some time and like really customize those social sharing images. I've noticed like during my time here, it's often underutilized, and it's really a great feature that can help you punch through the noise on social media. And just going not a little off topic because it's social media, but think about setting up a fun, like a Facebook or an Instagram account for your race, especially if you are doing it yearly. This is a great way to connect with your participants, and the more connected you are with them, the more features like groups and teams and fundraising will flourish. So yeah, get in there and just play around with the settings and make an Instagram account.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's great advice. And also to remember to update your social sharing image on RunSignup, because it defaults to your logo. But if you put in a photo that maybe makes more sense, showing people a photo from last year, I think that can grab people's attention more when they're sharing it out. And even when they're texting, it will use that image as people are going from phone to phone. So awesome. Thanks, Adriana. And then, of course, using the race day tools, the race day check-in, making sure that that is creating that awesome morning experience for all of your athletes. So we want to thank you all for joining us today. If you want to get more information, you go to runsignup.com, givesignup.org, TicketSignup.io. I think, as we mentioned, we are going to be sending out a recording of this webinar along with the slide deck so that you will have those resources. At this point, I know we have just a few minutes left, but Anne, if there's anything that we didn't answer in the questions panel, or if there was anything that we might want to share with the group, that would be helpful.
Yes, there were a couple of questions, so I'll try to get these to them quickly. For any of those that didn't get answered directly, we will follow up with you. But one of the ones we were talking about, social media, one of the questions was, our race has already gone live with registration. Can we add social sharing already after the fact?
Yes, absolutely. So it's already enabled, if you will, meaning that if somebody, it's always going to ask you if you want to post to Facebook or Twitter. But in terms of customizing that, because you can customize not only the image, but also the text. And so you can do that at any point. Obviously, it will only take effect moving forward.
Gotcha. And then also another great question is if the charity owns the race and they're the ones who are the payment account owners, should they add themselves as a charity partner?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that's the only way you'll be able to get that checkbox button. You don't necessarily have to set up direct payment if it's already the race. Steve, what's your take?
Sorry,
Steve?
I was getting a call and I'm back. So with the charity partner, I would recommend that you still add yourself as a charity partner, because that will unlock that ability to use the donation checkbox. So it doesn't have to, it's not necessarily that the charity is a separate entity than the organizer. It's just giving you that additional functionality, and you know, for whatever reason, we've got that living in the charity component. But it makes sense whether you have one or multiple.
Mm-hmm.
And then one last question real quick, since we have 1 minute left. Where can you create your QR codes for your race?
Good question. So we actually create QR codes for you already within the dashboard. And if you go to the promotion tab, and then I believe under URL, or I believe it's registration URL, or race URL, excuse me, you'll be able to pull them.
Promotion
Sorry,
in the promotion
And then links.
sorry, got promotion and then
Links.
links. Thank you. And it's going to create default ones for registration, volunteers, donations, results. Those are all automatic. Also, we've got a new tool in Email V2 where you actually can generate QR codes for specific pages on our website, but also for entities outside of us. And then I know some people like to use fun QR generator websites, and you can add logos or icons or other fun artwork in the middle of the QR code. So that's always an option to you too. But I always recommend if you do that to test. I mean, really, you should test any QR code, right? Especially if you print it, if for some reason the quality was hampered with or not optimal, you want to make sure that it's actually usable. So, right. I think we're at the top of the hour. Anything else, Ann, though, before we close?
I think the remaining questions will have to reach back out to the participants.
Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate you all being with us today. Hope you got some valuable information. If nothing else, got kind of ready to tackle your turkey trot setups. We are always here to help. We really want you to succeed. Your success means success for our platform, our company, our team, and and that's with your account managers and our info@runsignup.com team that can really help you make that happen. So good luck in all of your planning, and we'll see you on the next webinar. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I think I see some new people to the channel, so thank you all for joining us. Brian and I are here to say goodbye and thank you for watching. So goodbye and thank you for watching. If you want to see more though, you can subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell and all, that way you get alerted when we post new videos. And if you'd like to click on the thumbs up button and let us know you enjoy this kind of content, we'd be very grateful for that, wouldn't we? You know it! Thanks, Brian. Always got my back.